by Harriet Harman, of course, from the Labour Party. Good afternoon to you, Harriet. Just first of all, before we get on to the issues around the Metropolitan Police and policing, just your reaction to the sentencing today in this horrific case.
Well, it's right that he would have a whole life sentence after the horrifying, heartbreaking evidence that was heard in court this morning. You know, our utmost sympathy has to go to the parents, and it's absolutely right that at least they can know that he will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Now, we heard from Cressida Dick, didn't we, the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, in the last half an hour or so. She says she's very, very sorry, but you're calling for her to resign. Why?
Because there needs to be fundamental changes, and they need to start happening now. That the trust relationship between women and the Metropolitan Police has been completely broken. And in order to rebuild it, there needs to be action. And it's pretty evident the action that there needs to be. There needs to be a system whereby as soon as an allegation is made against an officer of violence against women, they are immediately suspended, that there's an investigation not by their own force, but by a different force, so it's got a measure of independence, that anybody who covers up for a colleague is subject to, will have been regarded as doing gross misconduct and be dismissed, that there should be proper vetting procedures to ensure that the attitudes of the recruits to the police are not misogynistic, that they don't engage in violent sexual activity, and all of these things can be done. I've done a 10-point plan which I've sent to Priti Patel, which could be acted on, should be acted on now. But the question is, can Cressida Dick lead it on behalf of the Metropolitan Police? And she can't, because she's always been in denial. She ignored the warning signs that happened on her watch. And when it came to light that it was a police officer using his powers as a police officer who'd murdered Sarah Everard, she said he was a bad un, like it's one bad apple. She is not the person who's got any credibility to lead the change that women need to restore and have confidence in the police.
But Harriet, many would say, I mean, first of all, some of these allegations against Wayne Couzens predate her time at the head of the Met. It involves also Kent Police Force, of course, which she's got no responsibility for. The Met is a big organisation. Thousands and thousands of people work for it. And also, you know, she's the first female Met Commissioner. She clearly is very contrite. She says that the lessons will be learned.
Well, contrition is not the point. The point is public confidence. And she has led an organisation which missed the signs that were there a long time before, and including just a few days before. She has not shown, she could have straight away, as soon as he was arrested, she could have said, right, I'm going to change the vetting process. I'm going to change the way that that investigation is done when there's an allegation. I'm going to change the approach to colleagues if they cover up to other colleagues. And she could say, I'm going to institute changes when people transfer into the Met from other police forces to ensure additional screening. She could have done all these things that are in this 10-point plan I've put forward, but she's not done it. She's just wrung her hands and said she's contrite and it's awful and he's a monster, which he clearly is. But actually, she's got a responsibility as Metropolitan Commissioner to lead change, and I don't think she can do that. She called him a bad un, just like one bad apple. No, the system has got to change, and she is not the person who's got the credibility to lead that change. And Priti Patel has said that the Metropolitan Commissioner, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, has said that the Metropolitan Commissioner has got questions to answer. And I don't think it's good enough either for the Home Secretary simply to be asking questions. The Home Secretary should be saying what needs to happen. I'm not the Home Secretary. I'm not the Metropolitan Commissioner. Why am I writing the 10-point plan? Somebody somewhere needs to grip this.
And just very finally, Harriet, before we let you go, what is your message to women, particularly young women out there, who actually their trust in the police, and maybe not just the Met, but across the country, has been damaged, undermined by this case? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, most police officers, the vast majority, do a good public service, are out there to protect us all. and yet at the same time, clearly damage has been done.
Well, my message to them will be, we understand how important it is that you feel you aren't safe, and indeed you aren't safe on the streets. We understand that you need to be able to have complete trust and confidence in the police, and you haven't. And we will fight to ensure that that actually happens. And your supporters, young women, for us who are trying to make that change, will make sure that that change happens.
OK, Harriet Harman, really appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.